Interestingly, this year's budget is a very ambitious fiscal roadmap. And generally, when we speak of the budget, we tend to look at what are the aspirations of the people at that time, whether it has taken care of that or not. So at this present juncture, definitely when you see the overall picture of the budget, you find, yes, there is a combination of welfare commitments as well as the development initiatives. Definitely one would agree with that. But only thing is, as an student of economics, I'm also interested whether this budget base is stronger. When I say budget base is stronger, whether its financial base supporting this ambitious plan is stronger. So let me just look at those figures first and then give my opinion on the rest of the budget. What exactly is the total size of the budget? As all of us know, is around 4.48 lakh crores. It's really a good budget because Karnataka is aiming to become $1 trillion economy by 2030. For that, this roadmap is really good. But here, the major crux of the things is, fine, we have 4.48 lakh crores. It's really good. But how is that this 4.48 lakh crores is funded through? If you look at this, then you will fund it through. If you look at this, then you will understand. So first one is 4.9 lakh crores was the last year's budget. It was, for the first time, even I just appreciated the budget saying, oh, we have crossed 4 lakh. 9 crores. 4 lakh crores itself is one big milestone. But the revised estimates came down 3.9 to 3.995 lakh crores, stating that the finances that which they got from the finances was not what they expected, and finally they have to marginally reduce it. But here, when you see of the revenue mobilizations, so there also I'm not that optimistic. Revenue mobilization last year itself, it was not up to the mark. So in 26-27, the government expected the revenue receipts of around 3,15,000 this year, 3,15,000 crores. So 3,15,000 crores is fairly fine, but here the issue is last year itself we are unable, around 5 to 10% of the whatever the budgetary estimate was there, we couldn't attain that. So that is the problem here. And here the tax revenue, that is our own tax revenue, is around 2,20,000 crores. So Karnataka, when you speak traditionally also, we are fairly good in collecting the taxes, either in the GST, income tax, almost all the taxes. We should thank the people of Karnataka. They are relatively more honest than the other states. But here the issue is, can we attain this much of the allocation that which the government is planning to? So look at the estimates. What this last year excise target was around 40,000 crores. But they couldn't attain that much in the last year itself. But this year again, till February, as per the budget estimates itself, I am giving you the data, 36,492 crores was what government collected till February. Another 1 year, can we expect them to collect the 40,000? I mean, the remaining amount of 4,000 crores is really difficult. So now all of a sudden we say, okay, we will increase it to 45,000 crores. Education, 40,000, we will be speaking of the revenue. And similarly with the commercial tax, similarly with the other sets of tax also, the government is over ambitious when it was speaking of collecting the taxes. And another important thing, whenever I speak of this, the central share of the taxes, the government is now saying 79,050 crores will come. Last year budgetary estimate was 51,877. So again here, because of the 16th Finance Commission, we are getting higher share now, and fairly that can be done too. But here, look at the another thing. So where we are, another important issue is we are going for debt to the tune of debt absolute numbers. Let me check the debt absolute number, 1,32,000 crores. Here, last time it was 1,16,000 crores, and 14,000 is the increase in it. Any government, any government, and I always keep on repeating this. We should not compare the public finances with the personal finances. In personal finances, generally we say, okay, I have 5,000 rupees. So we will purchase the clothes for 5,000 this festival. That is fair enough. But when it comes to the public finances, they will say, first, plan is whether we have to give the clothes to all the children in the school, primary school, free of cost. Then they will plan, from where to bring the money. That is how the public finances is done. If you utilize all this debt for the productive purposes, then there is no problem whatsoever. And if you look at the figures, it's cleverly managed, whether it is according to the Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Act. Yes, everybody should say yes only, because it is the government budgetary estimates say it is within the 24.67, 24.94%, up to 25 it was admissible. Fine, fair enough. But wherein are we spending this money? Government is claiming that it will spend only 74,682 crores in the capex. Capex is the one which is very crucial for the development. In case if we want to attain $1 trillion economy by 2030 or at the most 2032, the capex investment should be higher. When I take the loan of 100 rupees, average of around 75 to 78 rupees I should spend on the capex, on building bridges, flyovers, modern infrastructure. That will be always a productive way of spending my debt. So here what the government has done is, it is spending only 56.5% of the money on the capex. Last year, I just was taking care of the budgetary estimates. Last year, budgetary estimates said it will invest around 68,172 crores on capex. But what the government, if you calculate that to the money they borrowed, it comes to 58.76%. So means to say, compared to last year, this in the revised estimates of the budget. So means to say, last year, the government planned ambitiously, but they were unable to derive the revenue, collect the tax of around 25,449 crores. When we were unable to collect 25,449 crores last year, and this year, again, another ambitious goal of attaining higher money than the last year, whether it is a feasible one is my first thing. In case if they correct this arithmetic, if they are able to do it, then this budget is wonderful. Undoubtedly, I say hats off to the way they have planned it, because in every area you name it, it is there in the budget. It's highly inclusive, and you just say it should have been there, it is already there. So that is the reason that I say, fine, in case if they take care of their finances properly, then I have no issue with this budget as a student of economics. Only consideration or only
The
worry of mine
numbers
is,
might not
in
be able to match
case,
up.
that alone is the thing. Rest of it is really to say it is really ambitious. They can definitely do it, provided if they get the funds. But so for which, I also have a few things to say when we speak of either in the agriculture or in the industry or in the infrastructure. Yes, all the programs are really good, but what they should do is they should seriously think of fine-tuning this 51,000 crores which they are spending on this freebies.
Five schemes, five
Then,
guarantees.
yeah, five guarantees. Some even objects to call it as a freebie, some call it as a welfare programs. Fair enough, but target those five guarantees. If we target the five guarantees, then it should be the allocation should be over within the 10,000 crores. Why I'm saying this, whenever we give these guarantees, it should be targeted towards the poor. Only then it will derive the desired results. Otherwise, it is very tough. Say, for example, Karnataka, when you compare it to the India's average, our GDP growth is far better. We are 8+% percentage of GDP growth. Our per capita income, we are the third. Bangalore, for that matter, is the third largest city in terms of per capita income. So everywhere, our growth indicators are far better than India compared to India's
National.
macroeconomic indicators, national macroeconomic. Compare it to the India's average, our GDP growth is far better. We are 8 plus percentage of GDP growth. Our per capita income, we are the third. Bangalore, for that matter, is the third largest city in terms of per capita income. So everywhere, our growth indicators are far better than India compared to India's
National.
macroeconomic indicators, national macroeconomic indicators. So that is the reason that I keep on telling, even when it comes to the poverty also, when we are speaking of the poverty also, national average according to the World Bank is 5.15%. That is what World Bank is calculating. So it means, so it comes to around 7.15 crore of population is poor in the country. So if that is the case, then in Karnataka, if it comes to less than 5% now, at least minimum less than 5%. So at 5% of your 7 crore population, if you really spend on them these 5 guarantees also, it will not be more than 10 crore. So that is the reason they should do this. Otherwise, it really becomes tough for the government to handle it, because the government, has planned very ambitiously, upgrade the 800 schools in the Karnataka public schools, introduce AI-based personalized digital tutoring for the students, fill 15,000 vacant teaching posts. All these initiatives will definitely strengthen the public education system and improve learning outcomes. No doubt about it. Again, the allocation, I was looking at the allocation also. The allocation when compared to the last year for the education has reduced.
Yeah.
So education, well, last year it was 11%. This year it is 10.5%. The overall allocation when compared to the budget estimates of this year, compare it to last year budget estimates. So this also, there should be slight increase in that. And how they can do it? They can do it by fine-tuning the guarantees. That's what I strongly feel in. And even when we speak of the other programs, you were asking whether it is really feasible. Definitely, yes. In case if they do this, agriculture also, we were speaking of the agriculture, look at the way they have planned, now millet, there is a lot of demand for millet. They are planning for millet hubs and Sasya Sanjeevani pest management, Vasundaramruta program for sustainable farming. So these programs, will definitely help the farmers. And moreover, not just how to increase the productivity, but also how to market them. Up to that, they have planned it properly. At least whatever they could do in this budget, they have done it. These measures, they attempt to move agriculture towards a more technology-driven and market-oriented approach. Hats off to them. But again, when it comes to the, irrigation, when I speak of the irrigation, agriculture, irrigation allocation also has decreased by 5.5%. 5%. Because last year budgetary estimates say it is around 5.5%. Now this year's budget allocation, it is saying 5% of allocation. Because lot of projects are still pending, and for which, government is definitely saying, yes, we are going to do it. But, the allocation for crucial sectors, for me, health, education are very crucial.
Yeah.
Even in case if you want to give it to everybody also, there will be no problem whatsoever. In case the government say free education for all the children up to 10th standard or up to degree also, no problem with that. Or even when they speak of the health, in the government, if they upgrade all the government hospitals, see that, it will be free to everybody also, there will be no problem whatsoever, because education and health, if you take care, those sectors will take care of the rest of the things, because they have lots of positive externalities which will help the economy. So that is the reason that why even look at the broader picture that they are speaking of, 11G economic model.
Yeah.
When they're speaking of 11G economic model, even I was fascinated to read that. But whether feasible, jargons like this looks very good and fancy also. I also appreciate it because nowadays this is the world of jargons. And when we speak of the 11G, when you see it, fine, it's really good where you're speaking of 11Gs. And 11G speaks of guarantee economies. What my request to the government is, you are giving guarantee, fine. Make it guarantee for the ease of living of the public, fine. But C, you give it to only targeted population and lift them from the below poverty line to above poverty line. So that will help. So good public education, that's again another G. Second G is good public education. Really good. I hats off to them. But again, public education, it's not just about skill, it's an outcome based. What's happening, government is spending crores of money, either the central government is also doing, state government is also doing, but why the unemployment rate is increasing among the graduates?
Yes.
So that, as a teacher, as a student of economics, I should also introspect and retrospect myself also, whether I'm doing my duty. And, here the problem is, let it be outcome based. You tell the teachers, you guide them, you give them the skill to see that whatever they teach translates into skill, which helps them to absorb in the market. That is what is expected out of the good public education. Then, see, look at the ASER report. What the ASER report is telling us, I am not going in depth of the details of the ASER report, but 10th standard students unable to do the three-digit
Calculation.
division calculations, and there are and 8th standard students unable to read the second standard textbooks, English textbooks, so the textbooks, English textbooks. So these kinds of things should never happen. But what are the care we should take? We should do. Another is good health. Good health. The allocation should have been increased. Good health to all is, everybody will accept it. Good health helps to increase the productivity. Good education will help to increase the skill. Then the standard of living will be really good.
Right
It
on.
will increase their productivity. Employment will increase.
So
Growth will
you
increase. Only then, because always the resources are limited. A simple economics begins with the fact that the wants are unlimited,
these are,
resources are scarce.
yeah,
So how to utilize these resources matters, and of course, Sidramaya sir has a lot of experience on this, and he has managed 17 budgets so cleverly, and for which I always had a great admiration and appreciation. But finally, when we are speaking on this year's budget, that is where, things are really good. Look at the other G's also. It is speaking of grassroots economy, good governance, gig economy, geographical equality, global trade economy, global trotting economy through tourism, green economy, and growing urban economy. All this are fairly appreciable. And one more thing, I should not forget here to mention, that is about this Nanjundapas committee, the Kalyana Karnataka, which we
yeah,
call. There again, the allocation, allocation for the Kalyan Karnataka. Last year, the allocation, when Nanjundapa committee made its recommendation, it also said, we Karnataka should see that this allocation for the under developed taluk should increase. There it was 67% of the taluks were underdeveloped. But when the Govind, the present committee of Govindaya sir, then that committee was appointed. It has told that the unemployed taluks have increased. Unemployed taluks have increased. When that is the case, then what are the reasons for it? Probably the government should have given a hint that they will look into what are the reasons for the decrease, or the increase in the underdeveloped taluk. It's fine. One may easily say, when I was speaking about the same, many were telling me, no, it is because the indicators that they took were altogether different. The indicators which they took were altogether different. And so what will happen after another 5 years? Now, this Govind Rao committee has told that it will be, they have to invest around 43,914 crores in 5 years. So if you take again after another 5 years, if you take another indicators, again those taluks will be underdeveloped. That is not fair. Whatever indicator you take, they are the development indicators, and these taluks which they have identified as underdeveloped should be developed taluks. That should be the criteria of any government for that matter, or any committee also for that matter. Hopefully, Govind Rao committee also has taken into consideration the note of the development only, and have said that this percentage of taluks are underdeveloped. Now, what should have been done? Because every year the inflation also add. And this 43,914 crores as on today will this 43,914 crores as on today will become either 10,000 plus crores or 15,000 plus crores when you come to the final year, third or fourth year. So that is the reason that why the allocation should be close to the average. Say every year we should have spent around 8,782 crores, but at least we should have spent around 7 to 8,000 crores. But in this budget, they have spent around 4,291 crores. That is what is estimated. So probably that should have been given little higher amount, because first is the needs of the region which requires development. Because if that area, complete area of the underdeveloped regions are developed, then it will also contributes more to the productivity, more to the growth of the Karnataka. And moreover, it also helps for the unity of the entire state also, because that is what we are aspiring for. It should be an inclusivity. That's what even the budget is also speaking of. There should be an inclusive growth in terms of the people as well as the regions.
So, do
So
you
we should
think
speak.
that
Yeah, that is definitely there. They are saying tier two, tier three cities has to be developed, and they have announced how exactly they will do all that. Even the central government budget also, there was a more initiatives towards tier two, tier three cities, and this is a continuation part of it, and we should appreciate it, because Bangalore is already overcrowded. And in case if you want to provide all the basic infra for all of them, it becomes really tough. So at that juncture, if the government is planning to develop this tier two, tier three cities and making Mysore as an next IT capital, bringing in all the IT industries over there is really an appreciable thing, because it should have been done long back. Though they tried, Mangalore, Hubli, Dharwad, Mysore. These regions they tried, but they're not that successful. Probably at least this year, in this budget, whatever the initiatives they have announced, because the infrastructure is the key. Because if you
yes,
don't give them infrastructure, and because if it is not properly connected and you don't give them the basic infra, then it becomes really tough for these companies also
companies.
to shift over to that places, because the agglomeration effect will be always there. If you are together with various companies, then that advantage will be always there. So to have that leverage, see that you develop an place where exactly all the companies will be attracted and they will be starting over there. Advantage will be always there. So to have that leverage, see that you develop an place where exactly all the companies will be attracted and they will be starting over there. They could have also have planned and spoken with the central government, and also have announced some tax concessions for them, so that it would have been much better. That's what I strongly. Yeah, Bangalore gives around 40%, 40 to 45% of the income for the entire Karnataka, and Kannadigas also expect that Bangalore should grow, and we also expect, because we also live in Bangalore, and the average, we are dubbed as the second most congested city, where the
Yeah.
traffic is always moves in this snail pace, and really we don't want that type of achievement also in that regard. And here, the thing is, many programs which were announced in the last year budget has been reiterated, say
Yeah.
tunnel road, infrastructure
Right.
development, cement roads, all this. Yes, the allocation also has been made. But only thing is, they're all really good to decongest our roads. But only thing is, it should be done in the targeted way. What happens is every project which they have started is taking more number of years.
Yeah.
And the prices that which they calculate the initial years will be almost doubled by the time they complete it. Which should not happen, whether it's a problem of a contractor or it's a problem for which they give this tender. What is the problem? I'm not very sure. But only thing is, here also they should fix the time. It should be 1 year. Within this 1 year, you should complete this much of roads and hand it over to us. In case if you cannot do it, then lay down the 50% or 40% of fine. And whatever the escalation of the cost due to that has to be borne by that particular company. All the major multinational corporations,
Yeah.
which are there in this country, it's almost like a capital of all the companies which are there in this country, and we are the startup capital of the country. So in case if we can have a good infrastructure, and moreover, the lanes that whatever it is there, it is not widening. There are
The
so many
roads are
cases
not
against it.
up to the level
Yeah.
for a smart city.
No, that is again ambitiously planned, but only thing is what any budget would plan is, this year this much we are spending.
Yeah.
And few cases they say for the 5 years we'll be spending this much and see that it will be developed. But that's what I was telling, fine, this year allocation is really good because they cannot give everything to Bangalore only. That is also, I agree.
Yeah.
But only thing that what they should have thought was they should also see that how would they attain this. That is also very, very crucial. Within this 1 year, this at least this year, they should take a bold decision in the implementation and say, fine, the entire budget is there. Now I expect the government. So we in this from April, 1st April, this budget is introduced. Bangalore department, Bangalore, there is a separate minister also there. Departments are also there.
Now
You have a
GB is
greater
also
Bangalore.
coming. So
GBA is also there, authority is there. Now, you see, first 3 months, this allocation will be done. So we are doing this X amount in the first 3 months. See that, after this 3 months, we are telling you what has happened with these 3 months, how much money we spent, what was the target. So fix for every 3 months. And after the 3 months, take the stock of it. See where exactly we are erring. It is not at the end of the year we are saying we have completed 80%, 90%, 60%. There was some problem. No. After every
short-term
three
planning
months,
is
yeah,
also
short-term planning. Of the same, annual plan is there. Fine. It's very good. Budget is really fair enough and fine. Every 3 months, really fair enough and fine. Every 3 months, you fix the target. Distribute that money into quarters, every quarter, and then see where exactly we are going wrong. Fix the responsibility on that individual who is not doing his work properly. Or if the company is have not at all started the work, then remove that and retender it
address
and give
it
it to some other efficient
immediately
company.
there. Right.
Yeah, that is where you can solve the problems. We have been listening to many of the Chinese companies completing the project in the record time of 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 10 weeks, and they have the 7 flyovers. And when India is trying, aiming to become a developed country, and Karnataka is also aiming to become, because we always stand much ahead of the national average. When that is the case, probably we should try that, become again another model, because Karnataka is model in terms of fiscal responsibility, budget management. And we were the first state to bring that and show a model as a model to the entire country. So fine, now let us start that, and if we do it, then fine. Really, the budget. If in case if all these things, whatever they have proposed in this budget, if it is implemented 100%, look, and by next year the Bangalore face also would have changed for the better.
It's implemented.
And a lot of investment will also come to Bangalore, and we would also be happy because we can stay in a much better place. See, now because of the uncertainty in the globe, right? Uncertainty in the geopolitical
Yeah.
situation, which is also transformed into geoeconomic problems.
Yes.
So now that IT industry also, because if the war continues for furthermore days, the plan was it would be ended within another fortnight or so. Now they are saying within 5 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks it may end. In case if it further accelerates, continue, then there will be always that impact will be on the IT industry,
Yes.
service industry, because Karnataka is basically a
Service.
service-oriented economy. So all that it will have its impact. So government should think of the whether we should go in for the waterfall approach or whether the agile approach of handling this budget also. Hope they have planned the agile approach, because the uncertainty is the order of the day. Uncertainty is the only certainty. So in this system, probably government should also plan from now itself how they should widen their tax base, how the collection could be made more efficient. Relying more on only on the excise doesn't help us. See how we can bring more individuals into the tax bracket. So that government should think, instead of increasing the prices of the essential commodities, they can also plan to bring. There are many because you free few streets where I should not, whether I can name it or not, I don't know. A few streets in there on the Chickpet region, right? They do the
Yeah.
business of lakhs every day. But when I visit there, I see that they will be writing it on the piece of a paper and giving the bills. So a lot of money, despite the fact that we are collecting the tax, we are the second highest in collection of the GST collections. See that these companies also one time, they can pay the small shops. Those shops should be collected in terms of GST, and these shops which are having a small business, they can be asked to pay a nominal of around 5,000 or 10,000 if their business turnover is lesser than a stipulated amount. That can be thought of, and how to widen this tax base should be thought of rather than keeping on increasing the taxes on other items. So because we have almost reached the tax saturation in that times, because even the state will have a
Sources.
very limited sources to
Exactly.
collect the tax also, because after GST it is very tough for the state governments. So accordingly, in that what best we can do, probably state governments should think on those lines and do it. That is what I strongly